Hi everyone. For those of you who don't already know me, my name's Natasha Bray, and I'm a success mastery coach for women who want to unlock what I call the ultimate up level. And that is up leveling financially, emotionally, and spiritually for true success and freedom. And I'm here with the amazing Aimee Stewart today. And Aimee is a client in the Ultimate Uplevel Academy. And she's actually only just over halfway through, but the changes have been life-changing and incredible. And she's doing incredibly well. And we want to share a bit about Aimee's story with you today and all the amazing things that have happened for her just over the last around 14 weeks, I think. So Aimee is a soul-led life coach, and I'm just going to hand you over to her now so she can tell you a little bit more about what she does and who she helps. Over to you, Aimee.
Hi, thanks, Natasha. So I began my business in January of 2020 before COVID started. Well, it had started, but we didn't know the impact that it was going to create. And I just began my business by starting an in-person 8-week program in my local town. And I had 20 people come along to that event, and I just loved it, basically because I was able to just fully be myself. Then in March, on the 1st of March, again, we didn't really realise how catastrophic COVID was going to be, but I had a one-day workshop that I held, again, in Inverness, local to where I stay, and it was my first ever full-day workshop. And then on the 8th of March, I think that's, or maybe the week after, that's when COVID hit. And I was just so determined to make my business work. So I moved it from the in-person model over to online. And I created my first online program then. So yeah, I do. So since COVID, I do a mixture of group programs and one-to-one therapy sessions. And my background lies in mental health. So I've worked in mental health for 11 years, and I've studied to master's level in cognitive behavioural therapy and mindfulness. But underpinning all of that is really my spiritual beliefs. And having lost my sister when I was 5, I always had a philosophical viewpoint of the world. And what I've always wanted to do is blend my spirituality with my professional life and help people from my personal experience, but also in a professional way as well. So that's when, I came up with Soul-Led Life Coach, because it really is from the soul and from the heart. So yeah.
That's fabulous. And just what kind of things do you help people with?
I basically help people go from where I used to be to where I am now. So a couple of years ago in 2019, had hit a wall. I had come to a point where I had enough of not feeling enough, basically. I was tearful quite a lot. I didn't know why I was tearful. And I just knew that there was more to life than that. And that's when I invested myself in my first ever coach. And basically that's what gave me the confidence to start my first in-person program. However, around about that same time, I started following you, and I just didn't feel, even at that point, I didn't feel good enough to sign up for one of your programs, because I just felt like everyone else had this business and I wasn't quite there yet. So yeah, but as I kept on following you, I think I'd been following you for nearly a year when I signed up for the Ultimate Uplevel, and I was just ready to take my business from being something that filled me up on the side to something that was my main focus in my life, aside from my daughter, of course.
I think a lot of people resonate with what you said. They had enough of not feeling good enough, and obviously that's one of the areas that I help people with as well. Such an area that's needed. Every woman needs to feel good enough. And interesting how you say you were kind of comparing yourself, I guess, to my other clients. That's all I can imagine, thinking, oh, I'm not quite there yet, or no, I'm not ready yet. So what was the thing about Ultimate Uplevel Academy that attracted you to think, right, this is it, I'm going to go for it?
I just had a few areas of my life that were needing to up level, and I was ready to up level. So it wasn't only my business, it was my personal relationships as well, and also a really difficult situation that was going on in my life with a court case that I was part of. And I just knew, I just knew that your program was going to help me navigate that. And interestingly enough, which is completely unplanned, your program, so my first week of the beginning of the court case, where I had to actually go into the court and in person, was the week that the Ultimate Uplevel began for me. So I didn't think it was a coincidence. I thought that's really interesting how the two of them coincided.
Divine time in there. So it sounds like there was a lot going on in your life. You're a solo parent to a young child, beautiful little girl. You have this court case thing going on. You trying to grow your business. The pandemic hit. So there's a lot going on there. And you decided to join the Ultimate Uplevel Academy, invest in yourself in that. And as we said earlier, you're just over halfway through that now. And where to begin? I don't know. What sort of change? How soon did you start seeing changes?
Immediately. I mean, it's been a spiritual enlightening, as well as my business has gone from a level of feeling quite like as though I'm driving it, to actually I'm coming up with ideas that I didn't have before. I've lengthened the time of my group program, so it used to be 12 weeks, now it's double that. I also have had, like, in 24-hour spells, 8 people booking just like that from one post. So yeah, and we're working through lots of trauma. The inner work that we do in the academy is deep. It's deeper than I've ever reflected on my life. But with that comes so much healing. And yeah, I also, about 8 weeks ago, so when I was in the program, had a freak accident where I slipped on ice and fell when I was giving my little girl a piggyback and broke my femur. Yeah, worst injury of my life, but it was no coincidence. Again, there's been so many of these kind of divine timing things where I was trolleyed into the trauma ward, and obviously it was a physical trauma that happened, but just the blend of doing all the inner work and then the physical injury, I feel, and now I've got some space. I've really been able to dive deep into the rest of the academy. So whereas before it was, I'd just do it in spare time, and I'd maybe squeeze in time where I would stay up late one night to get the work done. Now I'm able to take like half a day in the week to do the work. So yeah, it's like I've been given this opportunity actually to really heal from everything that's happened in my life.
I love how you've turned that, really scary, painful experience into a positive to help you. And you're recovering well. For anyone watching, she's recovering really well. To continue committing to the program despite going through that is just incredible. So what we're going to sort of break it down a little bit, because there was a lot there. So first of all, tell anyone watching what sort of changes you started to notice in you.
Like huge relief. So basically being able to be like, everything's okay, actually, there's nothing wrong with me. Yeah, just like a big sigh of relief. And even now, just being able to release pressure off myself to, yeah, just to be anything actually other than what I am. It's just absolute self-acceptance for who and what I am, which is Yeah, it's pretty profound. And the ripple effect of that is that, so with my injury, my mum's had to move in with us, and she has it's rubbed off on her and even my little girl, and the conversations that we have at home about emotions now and just validation of wherever everyone's at with anything, and just recognizing that we're all doing our best at a given time. So yeah, relief, I think.
Mm-hmm. I love that, and how it's actually impacting you and your family intergenerationally, your daughter, your mother. It's like a huge ripple,
Yeah.
isn't it? And you mentioned you've had some quite amazing results in your business. I know you're in the middle of a launch right now that's going really well, and you've still got 2 weeks left in that launch. So financially, things have shifted in your business as well. And you mentioned 8 client bookings in the space of 24 hours, which is incredible. What has that done for you, having that extra income and success in your business?
Well, I've completely paid off my overdraft. I had 2 credit cards that are now, on their way to being paid off. I've got savings up in my bedroom. That is the first thing that I see in the morning. So energetically, I'm just feeling so much more abundant and positive about money, but not only money, love, because there is such a connection between the two of them. And I just feel so much more open to receiving. I think that's been a really big thing for me, is that for some reason I had blamed myself for everything that had happened in my life, and I felt like a bad person. And that belief, I am a bad person, I hadn't realized that. I actually had not realized that that had been within me since I was a little girl. And shifting that belief has helped me to look back on things with compassion for myself and forgive myself, even although I hadn't really done anything wrong. It was just my perception of what had happened. And yeah, I'm just so much, and interestingly enough, with my injury, I'm then able to receive help now, and there's been so many gifts sent, and just being able to receive has just been a big shift. So yeah, that then transfers onto my business. So that night, the next morning, I was like, wow, I've got 8 bookings. It's just like, wow, I can receive that now. So yeah, and this launch, I'm about a week into. I've got another just nearly 2 weeks left. And normally by this point, I'd be like, oh, I've nearly got everybody. I'll just, stop promoting now. But I'm not stopping. I'm just keeping on going. And I think that's just keeping me open to that receiving. So yeah, it's going really well. And from my webinar, I got the most amount of bookings without one-to-one calls. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I think a lot of people resonate with that as well. When we have gone through things in life as children, especially, we often blame ourselves as a way of coping because we don't really understand the world as an adult would at that stage of our lives. And we tell ourselves things like, I'm not worthy of having things, or I'm not a good person, I'm bad. And they're the things that most children have, or most people have these beliefs deep down without necessarily realizing that they have or how much they're impacting on them. So we talk about opening the floodgates to receiving. Would you say that's definitely what's happened here?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think I'd shut down, and now I'm just, yeah, open. And I think your daily hypnosis, it just works on such a deep level that, yeah, and not only the daily hypnosis, the deeper ones that are part of each module, they just hit a level that, some of the memories that I've worked on, I didn't even realize were there, so it's amazing the detail that you get on your life. It's amazing.
Thank you for sharing that. Would it be safe to say you're on track for your best month in business?
Yes, yeah, and the most confident I've felt in my business. Yeah, yeah.
Considering this is a relatively new business that you built during the pandemic, you're doing really well, aren't you?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really optimistic that I'm going to show my little girl what can be done if you just put yourself into it. So and there's just something so freeing about living your truth and living wholly and not having to hide parts of yourself. And that's the beauty of being in a business that you can be your whole true self with. So, and by doing that, just like what you do, Natasha, you enable other people to do that. And it's beautiful to see.
That's lovely. And yeah, I remember you saying before you started to feel more able to share your full self and your story and what you've been through with the world in a way that we teach around how to share lessons, your experiences, and turn them into lessons and things, and how people have commented that they were attracted to working with you because you shared your story with them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've shared more since I've been in the Ultimate Uplevel about my true self and my true story, you know, without people saying that. Before, I would maybe open up once people had invested in me and come along to a program, but now I'm posting about it in written posts. And yeah, it's not from a woe is me perspective, it's from a perspective that if I can overcome this, so can you. And yeah, it's just led me to so many clients that I'm meant to work with. So yeah, it's just really helped with that.
And if you only had to pick one, I know it's hard, but what would you say the biggest shift has been for you?
I think it's that just knowing that I'm worthy, knowing that I'm enough just as I am, that belief, that shift, and actually feeling that, you know, really feeling that, because I've had shifts in the past that I've maybe like a little bit shifted, but this has been like a powerful shift. I mean, I honestly think that if I wasn't in the Ultimate Uplevel and I had gone through my injury even, I would be psychologically in a much worse place than I'm at, because I probably would have been focusing on the way that my body's going to look moving forward, etc. But it's now not, you know, my enoughness is not hinged on anything external. It's an inner sense of worthiness, and yeah, that's the most freeing thing, because it actually doesn't matter about anything outside of me. I just know that I'm worthy.
Oh, that's huge. That's priceless as well. You can't put a price on that kind of feeling, can you? And you mentioned that you know, I know that you've done other healing and other work on yourself, but how perhaps you hadn't felt those shifts as deeply. So what was different, or what is different about the Ultimate Uplevel Academy, do you think, to other things that you might have tried?
I think it's the layers to it, because you have, like I said, the daily hypnosis that you listen to, but then you also have the reflections, and your workshops are just so thorough that you can't miss anything. You know, so I think that there's so many levels to it that I just feel that, yeah, the healing has definitely happened because I've been able to reflect on things on so many different like angles, perspectives, times. So yeah, it just feels like spring cleaning. You know, you're getting into all the corners.
And I, you know, personally, I believe every week is deep. Every week is uncovering new layers. And I do claim that this is the deepest work you'll have ever done before. Would you agree with that?
100%, 100%, definitely. And it's just so powerful. I have done other work, but it's never got to the depth of your course. And you know, I've even been on a week-long retreat before and done a fire walk and meditated for 5 hours a day and done mind detox, and that was amazing and incredible, and I had a beautiful time that I'll never forget. But I still didn't go as deep as I have gone your online program. So it's just phenomenal.
And I truly believe that everything serves a purpose. It helps us for where we are in our life at that particular time. But yeah, we work on so many different levels, and that shows, I think, and not just in your results, but the results that the other ladies get as well. Like every day, there's like a whole post, like loads of posts of different wins that's going on in the group, which is just incredible to see. Well, thank you for sharing, all of these bits of your story and your journey with us today. If there's somebody watching this thinking, I need the Ultimate Uplevel Academy, but maybe they're on the fence, what would you say to them?
Just absolutely sign up for it. You'll never have a second thought about it once you're in. And just to say about the community of people within the Ultimate Uplevel, it's such a safe community in terms of what is shared and what can be shared, and so supportive. And I think it's like having a tribe of women around you that are cheering you on as well. And it's yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. And for anyone watching who wants to know more about soul-led life coaching and to see what you do, where can they find out more about you?
So I have an Instagram page. I am Aimee Stewart, and I also have my Facebook page, Born to Be, and I have a closed Facebook community, The Conscious Collective.
Amazing. Fab. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Thank you.
Today. That's it from us. We are actually opening the doors for the Ultimate Uplevel Academy again. We're about to, well, the next part we're doing is intuition and innovation, which that is Aimee's last module actually. Woo, don't want you to go in. But it's actually one of the favorites as well from the ladies who've already gone through the academy. So if you want to start off with us at that point in the academy, you've got a couple of weeks to join, and honestly, it is completely life-changing. So if that interests you, do get in touch and we can have a chat and see if it's a good fit. Okay, fab. Bye for now.
Bye.